Guys, and welcome to another Blender Guru tutorial. This time we're going to be tackling the world. Now this is something that quite a few of you have been requesting for many years. So the world is actually made up of 3 spheres. So in 100 years or so, I'm sure they'll, look back and say, Christopher Columbus discovered that the world was round, and then it was Andrew Price who discovered that there was 3 spheres. So there's actually the ground, and then there is the cloud, kind of cloud sphere, and then there is the atmosphere. Yeah, see what I did there? All right, so now let's get into the textures. Add a new texture, make it image, and the texture that I'm going to use, or all of these textures actually come from NASA. Big surprise, like you would have got them anywhere else, really. But yeah, these textures are all available publicly on the NASA website. I'll put a link there so you can check them out. Yeah, okay, so the one I'm using here is Color Map, so I'm just going to open that. Okay, now if you go ahead and render that now, you can see that the texture has been perfectly applied. I'm now going to add a second texture, and this one is going to be Bump. Okay, select Image again. This is, of course, again, one from NASA. And this is basically a grayscaled image of basically all the terrain in the world, kind of like the high points. It's a height map, basically. So that's it's a really cool texture. Yeah, so they're all available on the NASA site. These ones here that I'm using are edited versions of the ones that they provide for you. And let's give that a render now. And you can see we've now got some bump mapping where there's the where there's the terrain, basically. And in the texture panel, we're going to enable an image. And this one is, of course, the night lights. Okay, now this image is basically just kind of a purplish, bluish type color to it. And now if we hit render, you can see that we now have the result that we want. This area over here is now using the night material, and this over here, which is receiving light, is now using the day material. So I'm going to go to the texture panel, add a new texture, image, and now let's select clouds. Okay, so this is just black and white grayscale clouds. I don't know how they photographed this. It seems really complex. I couldn't imagine trying to do that, but anyway, they've done it. There you go. It's really cool. So now if we give that a render, you can see we now have clouds over the Earth. Time for our third and final sphere. Duplicate it once more. Okay, so that should, it gives you more, just better looking, sharper.
Actually, it'd be interesting because you're the Planetary Society, and I wonder whether Brian agrees with me on this, because I think many scientists like me would say the frontier doesn't involve people. The frontier that NASA is doing in space, the real science that NASA doesn't involve 100-pound bags of water.
I didn't say science. I talked about
I want to. Okay,
there's a distinction here. Yeah. If you only want to do science in space, yeah, you would never send humans. You
agree.
would send robots. Even the geologist who would love to go to Mars with a hammer would just love it. If you gave the geologist the option, I can send you to one spot, or I can send 100
spacecraft.
100
rovers
to 100 different spots that you can pick. They're picking the 100 rovers.
No, actually, that's not true. I'm in the Department of Geology, among other things, you can send, as I often say, you can send a rover to Mars for the price that it takes to make a movie about sending Bruce Willis to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You can send, as I often say, you can send a rover to Mars for the price that it takes to make a movie about sending Bruce Willis to Mars.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But
if you told the geologists it was a one-way trip,
which is what I've argued
but they
for.
still want to be going.
They still want to go.
Yeah, then they're just crazy. I mean, why are you even talking to those geologists?
So you guys, just if I may speak briefly about the Planetary Society, we are fighting the good fight to restore funding. We are fighting the good fight to restore funding for planetary exploration. We're trying to get $1.5 billion a year, so we need $300 million for planetary science, and it's being threatened. So fiscal year 14 is coming up for NASA. If you got nothing else to do, please check out planetary.org and consider supporting this, because our claim is science is what NASA does best, and planetary science is the best of that. And so we really would like you all to consider supporting it. It is such a good value. It's such an amazing value.